From the Boy King's glitzy tomb to the Rosetta Stone, which was written by a council of priests, to the pyramids at Giza, to papyri holding gospels and magical spells, Egypt holds a vast and mysterious trove of history with interesting stories to tell. Archaeologists continue to discover these ancient sites and artifacts. Let's find out this discovery in Egypt scares scientists. The Silver King. In 1939, archaeologist Pierre Montet discovered the tomb of Psusennes I, a pharaoh who ruled Egypt around 3,000 years ago. His burial chamber was located in Tanis, a city on the Nile Delta. The pharaoh was buried in a coffin made of silver and was laid to rest wearing a spectacular gold burial mask Montet found. Psusennes I is sometimes called the Silver King because of his silver coffin. Because of the delta's humidity, some of the grave goods did not survive. However, canopic jars, used to store some of the pharaoh's organs, and shabti figurines, meant to serve the king in the afterlife, were also discovered. Because the tomb was discovered when the Second World War was starting, it received little media attention. Temple dedicated to the deity Giza. Archaeologists at the Tel El Farama site on the Sinai Peninsula uncovered the remains of a temple dedicated to Giza, a deity who was a cross between Zeus and the weather god Casios. Researchers discovered the temple after noticing sections of two pink granite columns poking out of the ground, which they believe once supported the temple's front gate and likely collapsed in ancient times during a massive earthquake. Al-Asasif. In May 2019, the Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities announced the discovery of 30 coffins in Al-Asasif region, which includes a distinguished group of 30 colored human wooden coffins for men, women, and children in a good condition of preservation. The coffins were discovered exactly the same way ancient Egyptians had left them: closed coffins with mummies inside, grouped in a cache on two levels, one on top of the other. The first level contained 18 coffins and the second level 12 coffins. Since the discovery was announced, many international media outlets have shed light on it as one of the biggest archaeological discoveries, and the largest that has been made in Egypt in a century. Archaeologists papyri. Between 1896 and 1907, archaeologists Bernard Grenfell and Arthur Hunt discovered over 500,000 papyri fragments, dating back around 1,800 years. The investigators found the fragments in the ruins of Archaeologists, a sizable ancient town in southern Egypt that flourished at a time when the Roman Empire controlled Egypt. The town's arid conditions meant that the papyri used by residents survived nearly 2 millennia. The papyri include Christian gospels, magical spells, and even a contract to fix a wrestling match. Today, the United Kingdom's Egypt Exploration Society owns many of the papyri, keeping them at the University of Oxford. Scholars have been analyzing and translating the papyri ever since the fragments were discovered, but the sheer number of texts means that many are still unpublished. Egypt's oldest tomb oriented to winter solstice. About a month before last year's winter solstice on December 21, a team from Spain's University of Malaga and the University of Jaén announced the discovery of Egypt's oldest tomb that is oriented towards the sunrise on the winter solstice. Every year on the shortest day, the sun's rays cover a spot that was meant to hold a statue of a governor of the city of Elephantine, who lived at the end of the 12th dynasty of Egypt, around 1830 BCE. In a paper published in Mediterranean Archaeology and Archaeometry, the team explains that in order to achieve a perfect orientation with the sun, an Egyptian architect used a 2-cubit pole, around 3 feet long, a square, and some ropes to calculate the orientation of the entire chapel and the location of the governor's statue. By using these measurements, the tomb perfectly registered the whole solar cycle, related to the idea of rebirth and renewal. The winter solstice symbolized the beginning of the sun's victory over darkness as the day grew longer, while the summer solstice generally coincided with the beginning of the annual flooding of the Nile River. Both of these events held important symbolism linked to the resurrection of the deceased governor. The tomb of this governor was catalogued as number 33 and was possibly built by Governor Hikebag. This study demonstrates that Egyptians were capable of calculating the position of the sun and the orientation of its rays to design their monuments. Although the tomb number 33 of Kubet el-Ha is the oldest example ever found, Certainly it is not the only one, the team said in a statement. A creepy tiny hand. At the Roman fort of Vindolanda near Hadrian's Wall in England, archaeologists found a creepy, lifelike, miniature bronze hand. The hand may be associated with the worship of Jupiter Dolichinas, a mystery cult whose practices were shrouded in secrecy, which was very popular in the Roman army of the early 3rd century CE. The hand was likely left as an offering after a major invasion of Scotland, in which a huge number of people may have been killed. Death mask. Tutankhamun's death mask is probably the most famous artifact found in his tomb. Placed on Tut's face, the 21-inch long, 53 centimeters, ornate mask was manufactured mainly from gold inlaid with semi-precious stones and colored glass paste, and weighs a whopping 22 pounds, 10 kilograms. Galal Ali Hassan, an emeritus professor in the Cairo University Department of Mechanical Design, wrote in a 2016 paper published in the International Journal of Advancement in Engineering and Technology. The eyes are produced from obsidian and quartz, Hassan wrote, noting that the mask depicts Tutankhamun with a long beard and a headdress bearing a cobra and a vulture. On the back of the death mask is a spell from the Book of the Dead, written in hieroglyphs, which guaranteed the mask's ability to function as the face of the deceased. Marianne Eaton Cross, a senior fellow at the American Research Center in Egypt, wrote in her book, The Unknown Tutankhamun. She noted that the third innermost coffin that Tutankhamun was buried in has the same spell written on it. Hidden treasures. Just like his dad before him, Utah rancher Waldo Wilcox and his entire family kept mum about the ancient pit houses, prehistoric rock lines, paintings, and stone tools that were all over their 4,000-acre property called Range Creek. The artifacts had been left by a mysterious tribe called the Fremont Indians that lived in the area 1,000 years ago, and they remained mostly undisturbed, thanks to the Wilcox's gates and road-closed signs erected to deter hunters. When Waldo decided he was too old to manage the ranch, he sold the property to the Bureau of Land Management, and it's now being overseen by the Utah Museum of Natural History. Here are some forbidden places no one will ever be allowed to visit. Tomb KV5. In 1995, excavations at KV5 revealed that the little studied tomb was actually the largest ever constructed in the Valley of the Kings. Excavations are ongoing, and in the last report, archaeologists found 121 corridors and chambers in the tomb. The researchers said they think more than 150 will eventually be found. Archaeologists found that the tomb was used to bury the sons of Pharaoh Ramesses II, reigned 1279–1213 BC. At least 6 royal sons are known to have been interred in KV5. Since there are more than 20 representations of sons carved on its walls, there may have been that many sons interred in the tomb, wrote archaeologists from the Theban Mapping Project in a report published on the group's website. Vast water tunnel. Archaeologists discovered a 4,281-foot long, 1,305 meters, tunnel beneath a temple in Taposiris Magna, an ancient city located west of Alexandria, Egypt. It's thought that, at one time, the massive tunnel was used to transport water to citizens and is an exact replica of the Eupalinos tunnel on the Greek island of Samos, which is considered an engineering marvel. So that's it. Please like, share, and comment your thoughts below if you liked this video. Remember to subscribe to see our next video. Stay safe, and we will be back soon with another video.